Hopefully you guys had a great Friday. Hopefully you looked at the situations that came up today as an opportunity for growth, progression, whatever that was for you. But it's interesting because it is one of those things that every situation presents an opportunity. I have to give a shout out to the two sponsors, Tabala Creative Cuisine with Jasper Axelrad, and then we've got the Chicken Coop with Miss Sherry out of the Black Forest area. Two great individuals, two great community spots, and really focused on a bigger vision than just the business itself. So it's a blessing to have those two as sponsors. And then I know Patrick and I met up yesterday, had some brainstorming situations going on. So we've got some stuff that we'll be highlighting in regards with Two Native Sons. Excited for that. And then we had some exciting news today with some different individual things. So just excited for things that are moving along and whatnot. But it's interesting because how many of you are taking the opportunity to share your message through quick micro video content? And it's interesting because TikTok is one of those avenues that you can get a message out there, set it up, you go do a video, 60 seconds, get that message quick and to the point. And it's interesting because I had done a video 2 days ago, and I was looking, and it's got 303 views, which, hey, it's all good. But it's interesting because the micro content is one of those things that is an avenue that's not being utilized fully. A lot of individuals aren't utilizing that piece in regards to building their business, to getting their message out there, utilizing different things, and kind of going with the flow of a lot of people have a very small attention span. And when it comes to longer things, it is one of those crazy things that if it's long, a lot of people like tune out and whatnot. So, like, I just had 2 people watching. I don't know who it was, but right now we're 2 minutes and 38 seconds into this, and proof right there, which is okay. But you've got a message that you have to share that somebody else needs to hear. Who that is, what they need, you don't know, and so you can't go out there and find excuses. Well, you know what? You'll find excuses, because if it's not important to you and you don't understand the power of your message, you will find different ways to back out and really find those different things that will knock you out. And then you'll be like, well, I can't do it today because of X, Y, Z. And there's times when technology for me sometimes doesn't like me, and so the connection piece sometimes is all a little bit on the funky side. Just like right now, it shows we've got a good connection, so we'll see and whatnot. But it's interesting because you'll have a lot of people that will have those issues that will come up, and it will stop them, and they'll use it as an excuse to say, "Oh, I don't need to do it today because of X, Y, Z." It's like, you better find a way, or just push through. And like, it's not going to be perfect. That's the reason for the idea imperfect action. Go and do it. Nothing's perfect, and if you're trying to get to the point where you have 95% of it set up when you could have been running with that 75%, with that smaller percentage, and then as you're moving forward, make those pivots, make those adjustments, because you're going to be in a better position than the individuals that wait and are like, it's got to be perfect and this and that, and excuse after excuse after excuse, which honestly, you kind of have to look at that excuse as an individual and go punch it in the fucking face. Just to tell it to say, all right, shut up, sit down, let's go. I don't need you anymore. But it's funny how excuses will come up and they'll hinder you. So it's up to you on what you do with them. But you make the decision. And so, a couple different things here from another book that I've read, and a couple different quotes here. One is by Les Brown. You don't have to get started. Let's see, but you have to get started to be great. We're like, man, like, I don't have a story. I'm not big. I don't have a big name. I don't have a big brand. Screw that. Get out there. Go and do it. Share your message. Share whatever it is, because to get great, you've got to take that horrible, imperfect first step. And I laugh because I go and look at my older stuff that I've done, and I'm like, man, that was nuts. But hey, if you want to get to that point of making your 100th video, you've got to take that first step to do your first video. Or if you want to do your 100th live, you've got to do your first live. And it's interesting because there's an individual that I follow, Pat Flynn, great individual when it comes to entrepreneurial mindset and just doing big things in the entrepreneurial space and what for individuals. But he's been on a journey of doing a live stream, I believe, for a year straight, so 365 days, and it's all through his YouTube channel. And he was discussing the fact that in 2 Mondays, it will be the 365th live video. And so what he's planning on doing is going live for 6+ hours, so 365 minutes. You figure out that math. But I'm like, man, that's impressive. Honestly, when you think about it, to have that consistency and show up and do the lives to get your message out there, because it is a unique thing, the community that Pat has created, and to see the interaction that he's had with his audience and how people show up and just have fun. And so it does go in. There's a new hashtag right now that I brought up. This comes from Pat McAfee. I was listening to his podcast today, but it's hashtag be a friend, tell a friend. So there is the great thing about social media. It's called the share button. And so be a friend, tell a friend. But if you're watching this, you're like, man, this was a waste of time. Just act like it never happened. I'm sorry, but be a friend, tell a friend. You know, share the message, share the love. That's how we do it and whatnot. But then the other thing in here was one of the chapters is called "Don't Hold Yourself Back." When we further carve and clarify our chosen purpose on this planet, we'll start to realize when we hit roadblocks that many of them are self-imposed. So that right now, what is taking place in your life, or what story are you telling yourself that's holding yourself back? What roadblock have you created because of your thoughts, because of the stories that you're telling yourself? Now you got to look at it and say, okay, what can I do to tear down that roadblock that I have created? Or are you going to continue to build upon that roadblock and create a very large obstacle that's going to hold you back? And then a year down the road, you'll look back and you'll be pissed at yourself because you didn't go and do what you wanted to do. You decided to impose this limiting belief. You decided to create this roadblock by the story that you're telling yourself. And so that's one of these things that maybe you're under the assumption that you can do everything by yourself. I'm here to tell you that is the furthest thing from the truth, because trying to do things on your own, you're limited by your mindset, you're limited by your experiences, you're limited by your lenses that you're looking through, seeing the world. And so that's the importance of having a coach, having a mentor, having somebody that you can lean into to get further along. Because it's one of the proverbs that I share a lot, the African proverb, that you can go fast by yourself, which is true. By yourself, you don't have to worry about anybody else. So you can go fast, but guess what? You're going to plateau because you're limited by yourself. You're limited by your mindset. You're limited by your thoughts. You're limited by the stories that you're telling yourself. So you go fast by yourself, or you can go far by working together. And so that's the thing. We have to understand that as humans, we're social creatures. We're meant to be around other individuals. We're meant to have that factor of coming together and working together. And so it is interesting because you have a lot of people that will talk about collaboration, collaboration, collaboration. But when you start looking at their actions and how they present themselves, the furthest thing from the truth of them talking about the power of collaboration. A lot of people will end up going and running with a buzzword, with a buzz phrase, because it sounds awesome. Everybody's doing it. So let me use it. But honestly, when you look at yourself, are you truly about collaboration? Are you truly about ways that you can come together and work together to create a large goal that allows people to jump in there, and then you go after many, many dreams, after many, many visions? And so that's the other interesting thing. How often are you taking the time to reach out to people, see what's going on, see what's taking place? And if somebody's struggling, are you offering potential ideas that they can run with to get themselves unstuck? Or are you just concerned about this surface level bullshit that everybody's on, and we got to get through that? Because it's unique. It's one of those things that you got to take the time and really do a deep dive and find out more about the individual than just the service level crazy ass shit that everybody's on. We gotta go deep. We gotta do a deep dive. And it is interesting because maybe you are doing something right now and you just don't feel like there's any traction. But guess what? By showing up with the consistency, there are people watching that will never say anything, but they're watching. And what you're doing is inspiring them. What you're doing is having them think differently. But it's a tough thing. Honestly, it is when you are constantly showing up and you don't know what's taking place. You don't know the impact that's taking place because you don't hear anything. And so it's one of these things that I tell people, that coaching is a very intangible thing a lot of times, until you get feedback from people saying, man, because of this situation, it helped unlock something. Because of that question you asked me, it unlocked me to look at things differently. And so that's why when I do lives, when I do different things, the podcast, anything of that nature, that's why I ask for feedback, because it allows me to hear what's taking place, what's going on. And then it also provides me the opportunity to hear and see how people are looking at life, how people are viewing things. What position are they coming from? How are they seeing life? What lenses are they looking at life through? And how are they seeing this situation? Because that's the beautiful thing. As humans, we all have differences of opinions. Which, think about this, is if everybody had the same opinions, man, life would be boring. And it is one of those interesting things that you got to take a look, and you got to do a deep dive, and you got to audit and look at the people that you're surrounding yourself with. Are you open to have individuals in your circle that you interact with that has a different of opinion? Are you open to have individuals that are coming in there with a different perspective and hearing them out? Or are you surrounding yourself with people that are going to agree with everything that you say, and you don't have any pushback? You don't have anything that's going to force you to level up, that's going to force you to look at the situation differently. And it's unique how that comfort of, we don't want our little world, our beliefs to be questioned, because if they're questioned and then we start looking and they don't fit who we are, it can be scary, because that's what you're used to. That's what you know. That's your comfort zone. And so maybe you're having to break out of your comfort zone. Maybe you're having to go past that wall that you've created for your comfort zone, open up and look. But it can be scary because you don't know what is on the other side of this wall that you've created. You open it up and you're looking and you're like, oh no, you look, oh shit, here comes the bus, bam, you get hit in the face. So it's an interesting thing how it can be scary, and it gets you out of your comfort zone, the things that you're used to. And so it's a powerful thing. You got to look at it. And who's showing up as their true, authentic self in your life? Who's showing up and just being them and not having to care about what other people are thinking, not having the care of the fearing of repelling the few, so they attract the many? Because it's so unique how people are scared to repel people because of whatever reason. And so if you're focusing on this little circle here that you're still to repel, and that's focusing on, you're missing out on such a bigger picture of more individuals that you could potentially attract. And so it is one of those things that what you focus on is what grows. Where you put your energy is what ends up attracting and ends up growing and comes into your life. And you're like, oh shit, like things are happening. And you're like, man, like, why is this taking place? Well, ask yourself, what are you focused on? So it's one of those things. It's very, very interesting. But it's the fact of we've gotta show up and play big. You gotta come and just be your true self. But you gotta understand that get to that point of the 100th live or whatever it is, you've got to do the first one, and it can be scary. But I know Patrick and I are place within Two Native Sons, kind of going with a focus on some different things. So excited to bring that to light. I know that's something that we'll be sharing, I believe, on the Dreamer Cypher next Wednesday. So we're excited for that. Also excited to, if Amber Hardy's watching this, excited to hear what's taking place with your journey. I know you've been posting some stuff on Facebook, and it's exciting to see, but grateful that you took the opportunity to come on the Dreamer Cypher with us. It was 3 weeks ago, I believe, and just share that. But share your heart story. Really share that core message, which I think that's a message there really for you that's going to connect you with a lot more people that are going to draw a lot of people in because it's powerful. But you've talked about that beginning points, the pivot points, and then where you're at now. And it's a continual growth process. And so it's exciting. Really, it is to see the power and what happens when somebody shares their message. What happens when people step away and they're tired, they're sick and tired of holding back and actually sharing their message. And understanding that your message is powerful. Somebody needs to hear your message. Who that is, you don't know. So you got to take the fucking spotlight off of yourself and put it on other people. Because you have to understand, you have a message, you have a gift that's meant to be shared. Who that needs to be shared with, we don't know. You don't know unless you have somebody that's speaking up and saying what's taking place and what's happening. But a lot of times, people do not come to the table and bring the transparency and the vulnerability. So it's just something to think about. But hashtag be a friend, tell a friend. Share the shit out of this. Somebody needs to hear it. I don't know who it is, but share it. And this is the thing that you know people that I don't know that can be impacted by this message, by whatever's being shared here. And so hashtag be a friend, tell a friend. Appreciate you guys' support. Appreciate everything that you do. Thank you for you being you. Thank you for you being the individual that you are and everything that you do. So other than that, I'll catch you guys later. I love you. Have a great night. Peace out. Check you later.